And you know that how a person plans her wedding and what type of wedding she's into and um, how deep she goes says a lot about a person, actually.
I think so.
That's a good ass question.
Because I am judgmental as shit about other people's weddings.
I mean, I'll just be honest, I hate a wedding.
I know. Unless you're like directly related to me, just please don't invite me. I'm sorry. I don't want to go. There was one time Chris and I were invited to one of his coworkers' weddings, and I knew it was a Catholic service. I'm sorry if you're Catholic, but I hate a full mass on a Catholic wedding. And so we skipped the church service and showed up to the reception, and the couple actually called us out, and they were like, oh, okay, you guys are just going to show up to the reception. And I was like, sorry, we're not Catholic.
I mean, they got the same gift, though, so what difference does it make?
Right? Like, you still got my check. Now feed me dinner and let me drink, and we'll be square.
And the dinner all the time don't be good.
It's never, I mean,
it's never good. Listen.
It's never good.
It's never good. Listen, I've been to my fair share of weddings, and the blackest tie wedding that I ever went to was beautiful, but the whole time I was looking around like, this is tens of thousands of dollars in flowers that are going to go in the garbage.
Oh,
that's all I'm thinking about.
Don't even get me started.
Beautiful, but the amount of waste.
Yes.
Like the other day we were saying, our pandemic TV watching is limited to, it has to be mindless. It has to be entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I scrolled past something about food waste the other day, and it was just piles of food and people jumping down into dumpsters outside of supermarkets collecting the food, but then guards protecting the garbage can. And it's just like, we have so many, the new word is unhoused, hungry people, and yet we throw away so much fucking food. So I imagine at a wedding, whole time I'm worried, not only is all of this going to waste, but it also doesn't even taste good. Wow, double whammy.
And it's expensive as shit. That was literally, I had very, I had a few things that I was very particular about for our wedding, and the food must be amazing was one of them. The cake must be amazing is one of them, because people are going to remember if you serve them a shitty meal, period.
Oh. People are going to remember if you serve them a shitty meal, and also if there's no coffee service. Don't.
Oh, cash bar? Mm-mm.
Oh. Cash bar will have me reevaluating friendships. I'm like, what are you, like, if I see you have all kind of buttressing and satin buttons and veils and all kind of shit on your dress, and I got to take out a $10 bill to get a drink, I'm upset.
Yes, I'm so mad. Nope.
But I also feel like if you're going to have a cash bar, just hold off. Just hold off.
Yeah.
You're not ready for this event, because the way my belief system is set up is I've asked you to come celebrate me. So in asking you to come celebrate me, I know it's going to be time out of your day. I know you might have to use some PTO time. I know that you're going to have to travel. I know that you're going to have to be in a fucking outfit. I get that already. Just at the top, at the invitation, you're already like, this fucking bitch. But I'm hoping that you see Melissa and Justin at the top of that invitation and go, you know what though? I feel like they wouldn't fuck me.
Right.
I feel like they wouldn't fuck me over. So I'm going to go to this, and I'm going to go to it with fucking bells on, because, I think that this girl gets it. Like, that's how I would like to be perceived. So, and it starts at the invitation. So our invitation was a hardcore show flyer. All of the adults were confused. But you know what? All of the adults should be happy we're even having this, because we're only having this because of you. We would have rather eloped.
Right.
So, do you read the words? The words say, here's Melissa and Justin are about to get motherfucking married. Here's the date. Don't fucking wear white. See you then.
I like your invitation. It's amazing.
The invitation was amazing. So that's the vibe of your wedding starts with that.
Mm-hmm.
So did you have like a little thin sheet of paper?
Oh, absolutely not.
And a sticker and a.
Yeah. Get ready, because you're about to get wet when I tell you how I saved so much fucking money on my invitations. Ready?
I don't really get wet on savings, but okay.
Okay, I'm going to get wet just thinking about it. And it was like...
Ew. Moisture. Okay.
I love when I can, like, I just love these little hacks. So, what everybody might not be aware of at this point, or maybe you are, but I am a graphic designer. And so I had access to all kinds of like paper samples at my job, and paper can be really expensive. Like if you want nice paper, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. Sometimes the paper will cost you more than the printing, more than the design,
more than the postage.
It can be fucking crazy. So I had this paper that I really, really wanted, but we were also having a very small wedding. And sometimes for certain kinds of paper, you have to order a quantity of, X, Y, or Z in order to even buy it. I was going to have to buy more paper than what I needed. So I roped in 2 other people, and you could get samples from this company. So all of us ordered enough samples for free and then had them delivered. And then I just collected them and then delivered them to my printer so that I could get the exact paper and envelopes that I wanted. And it was all for nothing. And then my printer, because he was the vendor that I used regularly for my corporate job, things that I needed printed as a gift to me for my wedding, they printed my shit for free. So invitations, I did it all free. Yes.
And if you would have had to pay, you're talking about $700, $800 before postage.
Yeah, and they're gonna hang it on the fridge for like 2 hot seconds and then throw it in the garbage. Absolutely not. That's such a waste.
And then throw it in the garbage. So this is why when I see butterflies marching to their deaths, I don't want to open a box and then a fucking
ribbon
scared creature flies out. Leave me the fuck alone. I don't want confetti. Leave me the fuck alone.
No glitter. No, like little pressed roses. No. None of that shit.
That little thin sheet of tissue paper. Why? What's it for? You're just making the shit heavier and costing yourself more postage.
And that's another piece of paper you have to buy.
And that's another piece of paper you have to throw away.
Absolutely.
Now listen, I understand sometimes people want to get fancy and they like, we got a little the wax thing that you melt the wax on and then you stamp it. So we did that with a little bee. We were going to be the Becks. We stamped it with that. And that for me was just for fun because, I wanted to play with fire and make wax and it was cute. You know what I mean? And it had an old school vibe. And also you were getting this invitation in the mail and then you open it up and it's literally a flyer. You're like, what the fuck just happened? So I wanted there to be like a level of, uniqueness, but also an unexpected layer.
Yeah.
But to be honest, originally, let me back up. I fucking really, really wanted to get married.
Mm-hmm.
But I think people confuse really, really wanting to get married and having a wedding are 2 completely different things. They're different ideas, and they're 2 wholly different conversations that you need to have with your soon-to-be spouse. That's the part that motherfuckers aren't understanding. So I had been in my relationship with Justin for 17,000 years without a ring. And, every day the eggs are dying off. I'm getting very upset. But we're wasting my youth. We're wasting my skin elasticity.
TikTok.
What's happening here? I'm cute. I don't know what's the holdup. Like, am I a difficult person or something? I'm So Justin just wasn't ready to do it for whatever reason. And I'm still resentful about that. It's fine. Here we are 50,000 years later with 19 kids. It's fine. But I'm still tripping about, remember the 3.5 years you had me fucked up? But having said that, I thought maybe part of his hesitation was because he grew up on Long Island, and on Long Island, there is this expectation that you have a huge wedding. Doesn't matter what your financial background is, doesn't matter North Shore, South Shore, there is an expectation that you need to have a big wedding, and it's a Long Island thing. And I'm not from here, so I didn't know that. As a matter of fact, where I come from, motherfuckers don't get, we just be having the kids and then we shack up. Like, ain't nobody doing shit the right way. Who cares?
Shout out to Florida.
Yes. So when we first started dating, he was my first boyfriend that took me to a wedding, and his mind was blown. He was like, wait, you've never been, he's like, we're like 27 years old. He's like, how have you never been to a wedding? I was like, we don't fucking, who's doing that? So the first wedding he brought me to really changed everything for me. Because he had set me up to believe that Long Island weddings were tacky, it's cookie cutter, it's fucking boring, the coffee service sucks, the food's gonna suck, everything's gonna suck. We're just gonna go to this party, give these people a $400 check. It's gonna suck. I'll take you someplace after. Don't worry. Like, he had set me up like it was gonna be the most terrible experience. But this wedding that we were invited to was a guy that used to be in his band, which that could be 90 people because Glassjaws had literally 90 members in it. But it was a very important guy. This guy, Sammy. Sammy's fucking wedding was so beautiful and unique, and it just the whole way home I was like, motherfucker, if I don't have a ring soon and I don't get to create pieces of that, I'm going home. You can buy me a one-way ticket, JetBlue, bitch, because that shit was fabulous. Well, it probably helped that Sam married a model, and Sam is also, he's like cool musician guy. But they had it on this sprawling acreage. There was fucking water. There was an infinity pool. There was a barn. And you drove up into the woods, and suddenly you're there. You just parked your car willy-nilly, and you abandoned your car and then hiked. And everybody's confused. We're hiking aimlessly in the woods. And then suddenly Sam and his soon-to-be wife roll up in a vintage car on this dirt road that we're all just standing on. Already my mind's blown. I'm like, what's happening? Are these people very famous? You didn't tell me none of this. I hate my outfit. What's happening? They rolled up, and then the ceremony was just there. They hopped out of the car. A person that's their job is to marry them. He hopped out. They married them, and then we walked over to where this infinity pool was. Food just started coming out of nowhere.
Wow.
There was just little foods coming out of nowhere. The night fell.
See,
and
they made the great decision. Don't make people wait around. Feed them right away. I mean,
yes.
They've ticked all the boxes. Good for them.
Oh, yes. So food just started coming out of nowhere. Drinks just started coming out of nowhere. Everybody's mingling and happy for them. She's like impossibly skinny and like modelly, so no bra, no under things, a very plain,
like a slip silk.
Yes, that
gorgeous.
Just a very plain that, and just thank you so much for coming. Oh my god. And I'm sitting there like, Justin's like, this. He's like, this is actually exceptional. I've never been no shit like this. He's like, I didn't know it was gonna be like this, because I was the whole day dreading going to a wedding, and had my whole fucking mind blown. By the time the night fell, we We walked downhill past this beautiful body of water that was just glistening in the night sky. And there were long tables with just, very now Pinterest, but this was, 20 years ago. So it was mind blowing then. Dried flowers and shit just laid down all these tables, long tables, but no assigned seating. It was just like, grab a fucking seat.
Yes.
And then I guess somebody in their family was a chef. So the chef was cooking the food. So the food was hot, actual.
No hot
And then
plates.
it just came to your table. And then it was mingling among, the barn outside at these tables. And then back up the hill, you can go sit at the infinity pool where they had fire pits suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Desserts started going around. And hula hoops. What? Hula hoops. There was a naked toddler in the infinity pool at like 9 in the evening. So it was just like ambiance. I swear to God, they were fucking, what do you call it?
Fireflies?
I swear to God, they must have just bought some because I ain't never seen no shit like this. It was fireflies everywhere. I was like, is this And I'm talking about the only lighting was twinkling lights that they had hung in the trees. So it wasn't like and there wasn't like an annoying, I'm going to say I don't remember a photographer. I don't remember anybody coming up to me.
But they were so good that you didn't even know they were there.
I don't remember having my picture taken. I don't remember shit. All I remember is I didn't even eat because the whole time I'm just looking around like just studying, this artistic presentation of how this was supposed to be. And ever since then, I was like, that was a wedding. They really made it so that no part of it was dreadful.
Yeah.
And that was the first wedding I'd ever been to. And I was like, oh, so you can not do the fucking thing. So everybody's going to be fine.
It kind of like awakened your inner bride.
I said, if we're not going to elope, then it has to be it has to have elements of that. Now keep in mind, these motherfuckers spent money. I'm sure fucking fireflies cost a lot of money. And there's ways to do it and there's ways to be creative, but like after having gone to that wedding, every other wedding just paled in comparison. Because then it was, now shuffle you here, now you sit here, up table 8, up table 9, and get your champagne with this raspberry that's been sitting there for a long time. It's disintegrating. You know what I mean? Like, just, So there's my backstory on how and why I've come to this place on how I feel about cookie cutter weddings. If you had one, this isn't about you. Please.
Correct. It's not about you. Just like the names last week, not about you.
Not about you. If you want to pick a Pinterest name, girl, do that. Okay. So, Chris proposes to you.
Yes, he does.
And you're already in your mind not into weddings, or you were?
So I was incredibly young, and I think that really is what molded what we did. But I'm also me, and I know what I like, and I know what I want. So I knew from the jump that it wasn't a big wedding. We are not religious people, so there was going to be, no religious aspect. There's going to be no sermon. There's going to be no preaching, none of that shit. I wanted to be...
So just straight up from top, I was like, yo, we heathens out this bitch.
Basically. And I wanted to be outside. Mm-hmm. So those were kind of like just right from the start. It is simple. We are not getting crazy. I was 23. So nobody was getting married. We were the first to get married. So there was like nothing, Pinterest wasn't a thing. So there wasn't like this onslaught of like things that I felt I needed to do. So that was probably really helpful in the choices that I made because I didn't feel like pressured into doing certain things. I think looking back on it now, had we met later in life and got married later, we probably would have been candidates for like a city hall marriage or an elopement. But we had 55 people. There were no children involved. It was
Nice.
very simple. But yeah, from the get-go, I knew that it was just going to be kind of, but because also my parents were offering to pay for it. And so in the back of my
Hey.
mind, I'm trying to stay as mindful as possible on like, okay, what matters the most? I want good pictures. I want good food and good cake. That's it. And an open bar and a good DJ,
That
because if the DJ sucks, the whole thing sucks.
totally. That oh, I forgot to say that at this fucking wedding that shaped my whole perception on weddings. Out of nowhere, there was just motherfuckers with canastas and little fucking, lap drums, and they just in the corner doing shit. I was like, what? There was no like elaborate sound system, none of that.
Yeah.
There was no song that you knew from a popular era. It was live. It was live,
Like a
like,
jam session.
yes, but like classy and not annoying and not gross. It nowhere did it start with arms wide open. Like none of
No
that ever
no cha-cha
happened.
slide.
No, and nobody on a microphone yelling at me to do something.
To the left. Take it back now, y'all.
Nobody did that. So it was just you mingling at this party, and Justin Beck's not a mingler, so it was the best time for him. He had his cup of coffee. He had his musician friends. Every now and again, I would bust into one of his conversations, and it would just be, no, so when the drum goes, but then, you got to go. I don't know what they were talking about. When it does that part. So then I was like, ding, 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 ding. This is the conversations Justin Beck was having all night at this wedding. And the whole time, I'm just looking, I'm high and just like taking it all in, not even tripping that he is not talking to me at all, because I ain't never seen no shit like this.
Okay, so based off of that was like your first experience. So you guys get engaged. Where does your head automatically go?
I thought you were just about to say head automatica.
I
I
was
was like, what?
oh my
What
god,
just
I just
happened?
thought about that too. I was like,
I
oh,
was like,
that's
what just happened? This is, I was like, what?
welcome to
Okay.
our music podcast.
Um, I originally was like, and Justin Beck was like, we should just say fuck it and elope. And I was cool with that because Shorty and Mercy were cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
When I said, Justin and I want to get married, they were like, all right, let us know. They weren't like, I mean, they weren't paying for the shit. So they were like, whatever you want to do. um, but then I started thinking about it more. And I had also, been living on Long Island long enough to know that there is a thing also about starting things off right with your mother-in-law. And the whole time in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is her only son. Her son is, not like the other sons, like Burnett can't get Justin on the phone. Like Burnett calls him and he's like, what the fuck? Yes, fine, you're annoying. I gotta go. Like she didn't even say shit yet. So like he's mean to her. So the whole time I'm thinking, well, red flag, but it's fine. The whole time I'm like, we gotta honor Burnett. Like if I run off to the courthouse with her only son, it's not going to be smooth sailing for me. And I'm the type of person where I don't want to have a weird relationship with my mother-in-law. That's going to take way too much energy for me. I'd rather me and her just get along. We vibe. Hey girl, you look so cute. I love your eyeliner today. Those shoes are cute. Oh girl, look at you. Another purse. You got so many purses, honey. Like I want her to like me and I want to like her. And then I was also thinking, and when we have kids, I need her in my life.
Absolutely.
So if I run off with her little son and then don't say shit, it's not going to be good. And I also felt like I had to include her in our plans. So I said, okay, we can't elope. Let's have a cocktail party, not a wedding. Let's have a cocktail party. So when we planned it, it was, let's just pretend it's a cocktail party. So when you're calling vendors and shit, I don't even say the word wedding. Hey, I want a 3-tiered cake. Strawberry shortcake. What you got? Second you say wedding, motherfuckers start tallying up shit, start adding up numbers. There's like a wedding tax. I want fucking... So every place that we called, we first just said, it's a cocktail party. It's a very important cocktail party for 100 guests at a house. So decided to do it at our house, which ended up would I have preferred to have it at a fucking chic Manhattan hotel rooftop, Sex in the City style. I would have preferred that, but the location fees for those were the entire budget of the wedding. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
oh, the budget was very small because Justin had a bet with his business partner. I bet you can't. Justin's like, I think weddings are fucking stupid. And I don't think you should spend more than, 10 grand on a fucking wedding. Like, what the fuck? And his business partner was like, you're crazy. Keep in mind, his business partner had also just gotten married and had a huge wedding.
Yeah.
But he had a huge wedding because he had a huge family and they were doing a traditional big Long Island Jewish wedding. Those things cost money. I don't even know. Girl, $50,000 ain't getting you shit on Long Island.
Seriously?
Seriously, $50,000 ain't if you want to have a wedding like they have on TV, like what you're looking at on TV, with all the stops, you pulled out all the stops, $50,000 ain't getting you shit.
That makes me sick to my stomach.
You know, when you're in a wedding and it feels really expensive, you're like, oh, fuck. Yes. Like the whole time you're tallying up shit and you're going, wow, imagine what this house could be.
Yes. Oh, no, I did that the entire time at my sister's wedding. Of course. You made mom and dad pay fucking what? Yeah.
Oh, they paid for hers too?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so Justin's parents paid for Phyllis's wedding. And so because they're fair, his parents are lovely. They're like, well, we paid for hers. We have to help you with yours. And knowing, how do I put this delicately? I didn't want to put my parents in a position
to feel like they had to contribute or feel awkward.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I care too much about my parents and their feelings on this and just, where I come from and how I grew up. This is not a thing we do. You know what I'm saying? So I told Justin, I was like, we can't accept help. So whatever it is we're doing, we're going to be paying for it. And if your parents want to give us a really nice gift privately that has nothing to do with helping us with anything, that we can do. But I can't have Shorty and Mercy looking like,
Oh, yeah. No, I totally get it.
So, the budget was extremely small, and we killed it. We actually killed it. We actually made money, bitch.
Oh,
so.
Hey.
Anyway, but I had the same requirements as you. There must be alcohol, a lot of it.
Yep.
And the food has to be hot and actual good food. Like not frozen wedding food, plated all weird, and everybody's none of that. And there's no sitting down and waiting for the food. It was just, I said I want constant, actual hot, real food because, everybody only ever eats at the cocktail hour.
Yeah. Well, so we did, I wanted a continuous flow. I didn't want there to be any awkward waiting. So we did all of our photos, family and Chris and I, before the ceremony. We came in, we did the ceremony, and it was seamless. So the way that we did it was, there is a place here in Cincinnati called the Cincinnati Nature Center. It's gorgeous. And on that property is this old house called the Krippendorf. And they have a beautiful covered wraparound porch and then a stone patio off of that. It's in the middle of the woods. And then you had use of like 4 of the rooms in the back of the house that were all open to these French doors that led out to the patio. So the way that we had it set up was it was like ceremony, then everybody gets up off the patio, they go into the house, there's cocktails, there's champagne because we did a champagne toast. We cut the cake at that time so that they could then, while everybody was eating, take it in the back and cut it up. And so then after that cocktail and hors d'oeuvre hour, then the staff had been setting up all of these tables then outside on the patio and porch. So then everybody went, they sat down at their table, they were served their meal because I wanted it to be a sit-down service. Everybody was served their dinner. And then after that, you could sit at your table or get up and go back and have a drink or whatever. And then all of the tables were then cleared and pushed back. And then that patio became the dance floor. So it was like there was never any like waiting or awkward time. There was always something
Yeah.
happening. And, and then everybody was able to kind of enjoy the space, as they wanted to. They could sit, they can go inside, they could be outside, they could dance, whatever. It was perfection.
Right, because you don't have your guests standing around like, man, I sure am hungry. Can't
Oh my
wait to get a
God.
drink.
I fucking hate it when people go and take pictures for like an hour and you're just sitting in there waiting in your uncomfortable shoes, like looking at your watch because there's literally nothing going on inside. It's so rude. You need to like be respectful of your guests' time and make sure that like something is happening for them so that, the night can keep moving and doesn't feel stale.
Right, and something happening for them should be happening with them having a full stomach and completely satiated. There's no, I'm standing around waiting but also thirsty. Nah,
Yeah.
bitch, that's not cool.
Right, right.
No, I think we had it to where when you walked in, you were offered champagne, but it was poured there. Like, it wasn't like, here, would you like this stale champagne that's been sitting out waiting 2 hours for your arrival? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It wasn't like that. And also they just arrived, and then, I didn't want to do a whole big, like, now I'm coming into the room, all eyes on me. I was just like, can we just do this? So the guests were already there. Drinks and, appetizers were already going around, because what do I care? It's my fucking backyard.
Yeah.
You're going to be holding this clear little plate, whatever. Get rid of it or don't. I don't give a shit. So my dad and I came in to the party that was already happening, and we just walked through the crowd. There was no announcement like, here comes Melissa. It wasn't like that. It was just like, ready to go, Daddy? Yep. We just came in from the side yard and then, went to where Justin and I built our own little, chuppah, and it was our family members holding it up. So there was no like hierarchy, like you stand here, you stand there. It was, here's 4 fucking poles. All y'all got to work together and hold this shit up while we stand under it. And the rabbi said his thing, and then the music kicked up, and it never stopped. The music just never stopped. It was a playlist curated by Justin Beck. So like Justin Beck, that was his job. You're a musician, you understand the vibe I want. And so he had, I'm going to say it was like 8 hours of tempo specific. He's like, okay, so now the party just started. The old people, they should have had a drink and had something to eat by now, but now they're sitting, so somebody's got to bring them their food. So, there was like some service for old people, but the rest of it was just, you walk around. But it was also like music that they could like. So Stevie Wonder, shit they like.
Yeah.
And then as we started getting them to fuck up out of here, then it was, meet me in the club, it's going down,
It's
and
important.
And then as the night fell, it started to become more like reggae shit, just super mellow, like clearly everybody's smoking now, fire pits, and as the party like weeded out the people that weren't going to be staying all night,
right,
it was sort of just a hangout in the backyard. Like, my dress was off, bitch. I had on sneakers and a fucking t-shirt at this point.
Yeah.
Hair still good, makeup still good. Justin Beck's out of that fucking suit now. He's just at his party eating up shit. We're just walking around eating things. But I like it that way too, because it forces you to have to go around and personally thank each guest.
Yes.
Rather than go to table 8. Table 8 is, who is this person again? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I caught a lot of shit. I had quite a few family members angry with me because I didn't invite like second cousins. I didn't, like, unless you were directly related, immediate family, or like, a really close friend, family friend, or what have you. Like, my in-laws were very upset that they could not invite my father-in-law's work colleagues.
But you don't know them.
Correct. I was, I didn't. I invited like an uncle and an aunt, and not their 3 children. And I was like, listen, I'm 23. Like, I don't want a gang of kids at my wedding. And also, I'm trying to keep the guest list small. So if I invite your 3 kids, then I can't turn around and tell these people that they can't bring their kids. So it just has to be like a hard no. And if you don't want to come, then that's fine. Don't come. Like,
Right. I'm not
do
offended.
your thing. Yeah, I really don't fucking care. So I probably made a lot of people upset. And my parents thankfully shielded us from it and were just like, listen, they don't want kids there. Or, they're just choosing to invite immediate family only. They're trying to keep the guest list small. Like, sorry, but that's just what they're choosing to do, and we're going to honor that. So I think you have to be, prepared to some extent to kind of deal with it. But I wasn't trying to have a bridal party. We
Who does that?
We didn't have flowers.
I didn't do that. Okay, now you're getting crazy.
It seemed so wasteful to buy flowers. So because we were outside and it was a gorgeous setting anyways, my mom had bought these giant mums because we got married in September. So she bought these giant potted mums in my colors that I had chosen. And so she put those, like, as you walk, there were these stairs kind of like set up where we got married. So she set them there.
Okay, so you did have flowers.
Yeah, but like I wasn't buying, like I wanted a nice bouquet for myself.
Yeah.
And the tables were like candles. And then I think we had like Gerber daisies like floating in water or something like that, like in this gel in these tall vases. Nothing like, no $400 centerpieces, because that just felt incredibly wasteful.
Oh yeah, no. We didn't do that. I did. I went down. J-Lo lives on Long Island, in a very rich part of Long Island. So I just Googled where the fuck does J-Lo live. I know that she gets fresh flowers delivered to her fucking house. That's how I was thinking about it. And I said, we're going to treat this like if we were really rich people, the fresh flowers that you would get delivered to your house every week that J-Lo doesn't even think about. J-Lo doesn't know that she pays fucking X thousands of dollars every day. She just knows she walks in the front door and there's the beautiful real flowers.
Yeah.
So that's how I was thinking this. So we went down to the flower shop, didn't say wedding. So we're having a cocktail party. And, we just want pretty ambiance. White. Make them white. Make them pretty. And we're going to provide you with the vases. They were like, we don't really do that. I was like, yes. Do you sell flowers or you don't sell flowers? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to provide you with the vases. You arrange them, and then we'll come and pick them up. You don't even have to deliver them. You will come and pick them up. So the day before my wedding, me and Marlene went down there. We picked them up, and then we placed them all around the house and decided, this looks pretty here. That doesn't look pretty here. We need 2 big giant ones here under the hopa. But other than that, they were just there. And then also you could take them.
That's nice.
Because we bought square clear vases from IKEA. The white little globe vases from IKEA. So like you stick a hydrangea in one of those and have the leaf flailing down. There it is.
So
What's
chic.
the problem?
Yeah.
Yeah. So nothing crazy. The only thing, that I did require, money to be spent on was my bouquet, obviously.
Obviously.
But, I had flowers. The flowers, my shoes cost more than my flowers. But I had to have these shoes.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm going to say my shoes cost more than my dress.
Woo!
I had a beautiful dress, though.
Your dress was very pretty.
Everything was cheap, basically. Everything was cheap. And that was my point. I needed to be cheap. And we did spend good money on Justin's suit.
Yeah.
Because Justin doesn't wear clothes like that. And I wanted him to feel fucking hot and great and awesome. And like he would want to wear it again one day. So I think he got a, was it chocolate? Yeah, he got a dark brown, designer suit. I forget what, but it was designer shit. It was tailored. He had an appointment at Barney's. They fucking fitted his ass. It was a whole thing. One of his another person who was in the band but no longer in the band, their sister. Their sister was a longtime employee at Barney's and was like, oh, no. Justin Beck can't just go to fucking David's Bridal and get a suit. That's crazy. Justin Beck is going to have an appointment at Barney's. I was like, then send Justin Beck.
Nice.
So he went. He got fitted. Dolce & Gabbana. And he got a little suit. He got cute. He got new Adidas sneakers. And he's like, I'm not going to wear those fucking dickbag square shoes. And I was like, okay, you don't have to. It's fine. It was really very simple. It was a nice little cocktail party. And, it was small and it was modest. I'm not going to say it was the best cocktail party anybody's ever been to. It definitely wasn't, on the level of that wedding that blew my whole mind.
Right.
But we were 30-year-old. At the time, we still felt like kids. And parts of the house were still not done. And it was just like, why are we going to spend that here when we could just do this bathroom? Like,
it blows my mind when people drop a ton of money on a wedding, because I think, like, whether you're paying for it or if somebody in your family, your parents are being generous enough to give you that money. Like, my parents seriously were like, because my parents eloped, and they were like, listen, you can have this money for like a down payment on a house, or you can have this money for whatever, or you can have a wedding. And I felt like, I wanted the experience of having the wedding, and, it felt very sacred to me. So I wanted that, I wanted that, but I knew I didn't want like the extravaganza, 300 people in a, banquet hall kind of deal.
Yeah. I also had to honor like who Justin Beck is.
Yeah.
Justin Beck doesn't want all eyes on him. He doesn't really want to walk around and talk to anybody either. He's not trying to do that. He wants coffee. So there was coffee all day for Justin. He wants coffee, and he wants to sit back in the cut, and he wants to eat food that he likes.
Right.
He doesn't. And he judges your wedding based on, do you have coffee available to him as soon as he gets there? And is there a quiet place for him to sit and watch you guys enjoy yourselves at this wedding, so that he could then drive me, hopefully tipsy and drunk, home and do what he would then like to do. That's like, he views weddings as just, his time.
A reason to fuck.
To just lurk and get ready to fuck. So like, he just wants to have his coffee and be comfortable in the background. He's not going to dance, Justin Beck's not going to dance. He's not going to fucking have a speech. He's not going to call for a toast. He doesn't drink. He doesn't want to do any of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? It's his day too. Why should I make him do a bunch of shit that he doesn't want to do?
Oh my God. I wanted there was no garter toss. There was no bouquet toss. I was even like not wanting to do a cake cutting. I didn't want there to be like a whole, shebang around that. And then the bakery where we purchased our cake, the guy was like, well, actually, he's like, maybe if you better understand the symbolism behind the wedding cake and why it's done. And I was like, okay, please tell me the story. And he told me, and I was like, okay, yes, you do have a point. We can cut cake and feed each other. Like, I like this. We had a first dance, and then I danced with my dad. He danced with his mom, and that was it. Like, there was I didn't want, all of the like traditions and stuff like that. It just felt corny to me, and that just wasn't who we are. So we skipped out on a ton of that.
Oh yeah, skipped all that. There was no dancing with it. Actually, I did have a dance with my dad. At one point, we had cleared the living room to make it its own little space if you didn't want to be outside anymore. We happened to have really amazing weather. So in the living room, do you remember that movie Koyaanisqatsi?
What? No.
There's this fucking movie called Koyaanisqatsi. And it's just a film of pictures from around the world of volcanoes erupting and fucking skies changing and birds migrating and fucking lava and water and sand and just all kind of seismic earth shit happening, but in a continuous picture.
Oh.
And music that goes like a didgeridoo just underneath it. So we just put that shit on mute and played that on the big screen TV, but then had music pumping into the room. So, Aaliyah, Rock the Boat, like R&B shit that I like, that
Yeah.
I want to dance to. So, but that screen was on, and then we had just a bunch of white candles in the fireplace going. So that was
Cool.
the room, and there was a couple flowers in there, but there was nothing to do in there. It was an empty living room,
Yeah.
and you can go in there and you can dance. So I had a dance with my dad, which was actually super gross. Because Rock the Boat came on. He was like, "Oh, baby, we gotta dance to this." I was like, "Not really. Should we dance to that?" So it was like, work the middle, and I'm dancing with my dad. And so finally, two gay guys, thank God, saved me. They're like, "We'll dance with your dad." And so my friend Will, and my friend Bradford just like put Shorty in a little sandwich, and they were dancing. And then the following morning, Shorty, recapped his evening because he had himself a good old time, because we had his kind of beer, and I had a server. I was like, "This is my dad.
Yeah.
These are his beers only.
That's cute.
He should not have to get up and walk around and ask for shit. This is the amount we have for him. That's it." That's it. Because, Jeff and Burnett's people are here.
Right.
And there can't be too much mingling. I need him over there. It's not going to be that kind of party. I want, and true, it's not a party until, there's domestic violence. But that's who I am. You know what I'm saying? That's not who Justin is.
That's so the wedding.
So I had thought of all these things. So Shorty had a good time.
Good.
So the following morning, I was like, "Daddy, how was your night?" He goes, "Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I feel like I'm just a real progressive kind of guy." I was like, "Are you?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Who's them two motherfuckers I was dancing with?" I was like, "The two gay guys." The two gay guys happened to be, they wore, because they saw the flyer and they were like, "Okay, this is a different kind of party." They wore suits, but they were hot pants. Like, so they wore hot pants with their, it was adorable. It was perfect. It was literally perfect.
Yeah.
Just legs for days. And he was like, "The one guy legs was, let me tell you something. I'm not a gay man, but I'm going to tell you, his legs though." I was like, "I know. His legs are beautiful." He's like, "Shit." He's like, "The other one," he's like, "they were fit." I was like, "Yeah, welcome to gay guys."
Shorty's like, "I'm feeling feelings and I'm not sure why."
He really was. He was like, "I mean, I don't know what that say about me, but," I was like, "It says that you are a very progressive kind of guy, just like you said, Daddy." So he had a nice time. Mercy had a nice time. Bless her. And it was a good time.
Yeah, my parents, I think my mom, I must have talked to her maybe a couple days into the honeymoon just to check in, and she was like, "That was so much fun." She's like, "Your dad and I were talking. We wish we could do this all over again next weekend." So like that kind of, to hear people actually had a really nice time. The food was good. The drink was good. Everybody danced. Like there was really the only people sitting down were like my grandma, Chris's grandma, his aunt, because they were old.
Yeah.
But everybody stayed until the end. That's also like, I feel like the marker of a good party is when nobody leaves early. They all stayed until we had to shut it down because of noise ordinances or whatever, and it was fun. It was a good time.
And now, did you get to hang out with Chris at all on your wedding day?
On the wedding day, like before the wedding?
I mean, like during the reception, did you even get to hang out?
We were together the entire time. He had some of his friends from New Jersey in that he hadn't seen in a long time. So they had hung out. They were together Friday and they were together Saturday morning doing stuff. But during the wedding, we were together the whole time. We were dancing, hanging out.
See, that's where me and Justin messed up. I really didn't get to spend very much time with him during the wedding. I was walking around and, "Hi, thank you so much. Hi, hey, Uncle Larry. I've heard so much about you. Hi." I was doing that because Justin's not going to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And part of honoring Burnett too was inviting her friends and making her friends, feel welcome and special. And also knowing that there was probably going to be a part of her that this wasn't a traditional thing. This was not anything ever she had expected, So I wanted to be super like warm and inviting, like chest to chest hugging
Yeah.
her old people who I still all very, when I see them at other events, I'd be like, hey, hey
Yeah.
Larry, hey Sue, may she rest in peace. So like I was doing I was hostessing
Yeah.
because I felt like I had to, and also, we've invited these people here, I can't not talk to them. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah, I think because we didn't have, we had like half the guest list. So it was almost impossible. Like everybody's mingling and having drinks and stuff like that. So, and out of those people, it was like, Chris is one of four plus his family plus my family. So the people that we saw on a daily basis, it wasn't like there was a lot of catching up to do. So the people that you wanted to spend time with and see how they were with the family that, lives out of state, you don't get to see them all the time. So it didn't feel overwhelming. Like I see, at other weddings, people going around table to table doing these check-ins the entire time and not actually getting to enjoy themselves, which I think it's your wedding. You have every right to relax and enjoy yourself because it's your party.
Yeah, I wished I would have gotten to spend more time with Justin. We did like, like not dance, hugged on a dance floor during a song we both liked. Um, we did get to do that, but I didn't. That's one of the things that I do regret is I wish he and I would have had like a meeting with each other and just been like, let's fucking experience this thing together and hold hands through this shit, and you don't leave my side. I love you. Oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
instead it was, he had a good time. He was with his musician friends and they were talking about the shit they wanted to talk about. And, we had just put this house together so you could walk around and look at the house, and we put this here and this is here and this is our pool. And, so it was a nice little like show and tell kind of too.
Yeah.
But it was a cocktail party. It wasn't, and it wasn't meant to be anything more than that. So we were happy. And then we cleaned that shit up the next day.
Oh my God, that stresses me out thinking about having all those people with shoes on in my house. Like when you were saying your living room was like the dance area, I kept thinking like, what do those floors look like the next day?
Oh, it was terrible. I was on my hands and knees with Murphy's oil soap and I cleaned my own house. I sure did. Yep.
That's rough.
But we were young and dumb, and we were cutting corners. We were cutting corners, and also nobody cleans as good as I clean, and whatever. Yeah. I had already gone on my honeymoon, so when the wedding was over.
So you did that first?
Show did.
Really? How soon? Like how far in advance did you do that before your wedding?
We went on our honeymoon, and then 2 days later was our wedding.
Oh wow!
Oh, I was tan and ready to go, baby.
Why did you have to do it because of scheduling or work, or why did you choose to do it that way?
Justin Beck had already booked studio time. Actually, he was writing Coloring Book, which just got re-released now 10 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And there were things already on the calendar, and he was just like, he had to pitch it to me. He did have to pitch it to me. He was like, listen, here's the thing. Okay. I got stuff going on. And this is his favorite thing to say. There's a lot of moving parts. And this is where you come in. Anytime he has the moving parts conversation with me, I know it's going to require that I put aside whatever I think the idea of normal is and just do what Justin Beck wants. And it's just going to be easier that way. Uh-huh. So, they were in the process of writing Coloring Book. But it was still very casual. It was still like, because this, we're talking about 2007. That shit didn't come out till 2000. Not even. You know what? I'm wrong. He was writing. Basically, every major event in our lives, whether it's getting married or having children, there's always a monkey wrench of a Glassjaw album. So I just assume if it's a major life event, something Glassjaw is going to happen, and I just got to roll with it. Yeah. Something was happening. I can't remember what. Maybe it was Our Color Green, the thing that came out before Coloring Book. Anyway, he was like, here's the deal. We could spend 10 days in Israel. I think it'd be fucking awesome. He also had to pitch Israel to me. Because I was like, what you mean, Israel? He's like, I
Not
just
really
never.
the first place that comes to mind when you're like honeymoon.
Show
Israel.
wasn't. I was like, and I don't want to say, I don't want to say no fucked up shit, but I was just like, and I also at this time had not converted yet, so Israel wasn't like, on my bucket list. I was
Right.
thinking Hawaii. I was thinking Brazil.
Yeah. A beach, drinks, a bathing suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was like, dude, Israel has beaches. I was like, okay. He's like, also fucking hummus. I was like, what?
Okay.
He was like, well, I didn't get to go on my birthright, and I just think it's beautiful. And then he was smart. He pulled up pictures of, Haifa, and there's this beautiful, I'll put it in the story, these gardens. It was insane. I was like, yeah, that looks pretty. And then the beach, that looks pretty. Okay, that Dead Sea shit looks cool. He's like, so we can go, right? And then come back refreshed, not stressed, tan. I was like, yeah. And he was like, and then we just have our wedding, and then boom, I get into the studio and everybody's cool. I was like, oh, okay. And you know what? I went with it and it worked, and it ended up being so much better because I know my husband. And if we would have gotten married and then gone on our honeymoon, and then he had to get back in the studio and get, his schedule, the band's schedule, engineer's schedule, all kind of shit together, the whole honeymoon, he would have been on his phone doing glassjaw shit, and I would have been getting salty.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, what the fuck is this?
Of course.
I also was like, we really gonna go to Israel during Yom Kippur? Ain't that like the highest? Ain't that like the saddest shit? And he was like, Melissa, I got it. Don't worry about it. I was like, how are we gonna eat? Like,
right. There's logistics here that we need to work out before we go.
But yeah, we went before. Where did you go for your honeymoon?
Okay, so we got married in 2006, and prior to that, we had just moved back from Florida. And where we lived in Florida, I had lived there for 4 weeks, and here comes Hurricane Francis. And then 2 weeks later, Chris had moved down, and here comes Hurricane Jean. Whoa. It was a 3 and 4 category hurricane within 2 weeks of each other. And I was like, the fuck, we're going anywhere tropical right now, because hurricanes never ever, according to everybody that lived there, never ever hit where we lived because the water's too shallow and it's too warm. And of course, it fucked everything up. So I was like, we're not going to Mexico. We're not going to the islands, nothing. We're going where there are no natural disasters. Let's go to California.
Yes.
So we went to Palm Springs, and we spent 3 or 4 days in Palm Springs. And then we drove across the desert to Las Vegas, and then spent the rest of our time in Las Vegas, because I had never been. I don't think he had either, actually. So neither of us had been to Vegas. He had been to California because his uncle lived in San Diego. So it was a nice, we got to relax. We had massages at the resort that we stayed at. We got to see the desert and do all those fun things there, go shopping, and then go to Vegas.
And you got to unknowingly meet your mid-century modern self.
Right? It was love at first sight. I mean, because we flew this first time, we flew into the Palm Springs airport. And for anybody that's ever done that, it's like an open air. You fly right down. You're surrounded by the mountains. The sky is like the bluest sky you've ever seen. It's mind-blowing.
It's outrageous. And then you get in the car, and on your way to the thing, it's like reading a magazine.
It's crazy.
But you're looking out the window.
It's gorgeous. And then to get to drive, from Palm Springs to Las Vegas, it was like being on the moon. It was the scariest fucking drive, because I was convinced we were going to break down the whole time, because there's nothing. It's just white sand and rocks and very scary, but it was fun. So it was nice. We got to see like what was that? What's that show where they do the Cirque du Soleil? We went to a Cirque du Soleil show. We stayed at Caesar's Palace. We went and saw a comedy show. We ate a lot of good food. It was nice. It was perfect. And there were no hurricanes. So
yeah, and it was warm.
yes, there were plenty of pools.
Again, checking boxes. Pools, sunshine, nice shit to look at out the window.
Room service.
And that's all you need. And that's the thing about honeymoons too, is they are for you and your new spouse to decompress and get to know each other even more. I mean, you should know each other intimately as fuck at this point. But, you know, that's what it's for. We spent our time in Israel just eyes wide open, like we were tripping, you know, just like, whoa, I can't believe we got here, you know? So the whole time it was just, you know, he and I experiencing some shit, you know, like that's like when we were on the train going from Haifa, he planned all this shit. I was just like, I'm just going to get on the train. I'm just going to get on the airplane and don't ask me to look at no map. Don't ask me to plan no shit.
Right.
Don't do that. Make sure that there's chicken not on a bone that I could eat. And a Diet Coke that I could have right quick that tastes like Diet Coke, and we'd be straight. So, you know, I didn't have very many requirements. You know, I was just like, I want earrings that people in America don't have, and I want a beach. And he's like, dude, I got you. So we actually ended up in Tel Aviv one of the nights, and gotta love Glassjaw. A Glassjaw fan showed us the fuck around, and we were like, this is great. We still talk to him to this day. He's wonderful.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like we got an inside look at like how a real Israeli lives in the city. So it was great for Justin. It was great for me. But you were right. If there were Pinterest and Instagram and all these things,
it would have been impossible. When I told people we were going to Palm Springs, they were like, ew, that's like where old people go. And I was like, amazing. That's exactly right. Because it hadn't become the place that it is now where people go, you know,
to take a selfie,
to stand in front of the Parker and take their picture in front of that breeze block. Like,
yeah, and all you have to do if you want to do that is if you were really trying to do that, you literally can just go into a Jonathan Adler store.
Right.
Like, why are you... You spent all this money and you're going to come here just for that selfie?
Right. So, yeah, I mean, dodged a bullet, I guess, on feeling that Pinterest pressure.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if there was... Girl, we both might have been, you know, victims of the mason jar. If...
I had a $500 dress from David's Bridal. I did not wear a veil. My girlfriend did my hair. A friend from work did my makeup. Like, it was very low key.
Yeah, I think my dress was $800, but it was down from $6,000. So I got a steal. I'm telling you, those friends of friends at Barney's did it up. This woman Sonia, God bless her heart, she was like, I want you to have the most beautiful dress you could possibly have with your budget, so I'm going to make it happen. And she goes, don't worry about it. She's like, do you trust me? I was like, I trust you. She's like, no. Do you trust me? I was like, she's like, I'm going to pull a few things. You're going to come to your appointment, and then we're going to send you down to alterations, and it's going to be it. And you're going to be happy. And I was like, okay, so the finding of my wedding dress, it wasn't like me poring over books and shit like that. It was me going, this lady who is a professional stylist for a living, I just got to trust and believe in her skill set. And she did it. She did it. She brought, and it was the first dress I tried on. There were other pretty options.
Yeah. That's how mine was. I put it on and my mom was like, that's the one. And I was like, yeah, but I'd like to try other ones, please.
Yeah, and then you tried the other ones, went right back to the one. That's exactly how it happened. Yep. It was great. And the shit had, I had just never had a piece of couture clothing before. So I was just like, what are all these snaps? Well, like, there's so much going on inside of a dress that you don't know about when you're looking at magazines. There was these intricate snaps and double layers of snaps and weird garter and boning and fluff. I was just like, this dress is amazing. And then I was like, but it needs to be very short.
Yeah.
So I got my, I made my wedding dress kind of freakum. But I was also, in my backyard. Why can't I?
Right, you can.
I like your wedding philosophy.
I like yours too.
The important part is, how are we going to impart this onto our children? Because I don't want to pay for that shit either.
Oh, God. I mean, shit, you have 3 girls.
Yes.
Or technically, I could get away with just Quinn and look at the boys and be like, well, I hope your fiance has a rich family because we are not doing shit. I don't know. I'll be interested to see what my kids... I could very much see Quinn being like very like low key. She doesn't want eyes on her. She doesn't want people paying her any attention. I mean, she could very well be a courthouse kind of bride, which I would be 100% behind her for that.
Oh, and you'll be happy to cut her a nice little check.
Yes.
Here you go. Have a great day.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Bring that grandbaby over here when you're ready. Love you. Yeah. I mean, I have my concerns, but
Shira's going to be a problem.
Big time. She's already into fashions and high heels and this and I know. And she's going to be like, budget. Who's doing that? But hopefully by the time Shira gets married, we have another pandemic because because I gotta be, we wouldn't, it would be inappropriate to talk about weddings without talking about the state of weddings now. And I have to say, pandemics are probably the best things that have ever happened to weddings. I've read so many essays and seen so many like investigative journalistic pieces about the changing shape of weddings and how mindful people are having to go around and do this. Like, it's not what, any bride wanted, but also it just makes you as a bride and groom to really think about, what doesn't fucking matter.
Right. I think a lot of people, when they get engaged, I think people focus more on the wedding versus like the aftermath, because the wedding is literally 6 hours out of your year and now you're fucking stuck with this person. You should probably like invest your time in like couples therapy or something ahead of time to make sure that you're compatible before you drop a hefty chunk of change and then get divorced within the next 7 years. But that's
what I don't understand. People don't like. Justin and I had whole entire long drawn out conversations. The children will be Jewish. Okay, well, that conversation is done.
Right.
And like, in my mind, I'm like, I don't know how that's going to happen if I ain't a Jew, but okay. But like, I knew that that's what he wanted. And I was like, I have to find a way to honor that shit, but still be me. So there are major, also, like, what are we going to do after I have kids?
Right. Finances. Where do we want to live? All of those conversations have to happen to some extent. We did a little bit of counseling with the gentleman that ended up marrying us. We had this like book that we read together and would answer these questions, and then we'd go sit with him and talk to him about it. So I think that it'll be interesting to see how people continue with weddings, if people will the pendulum will swing back in the other direction once things are free to do so. But I don't know. We talked about it this year, like doing like a vow renewal. Would you ever consider doing something like that?
We have not talked about that, but whatever money if that ever came up, we could do that, but not with you're going to be taking me somewhere. It's just going to be me and you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And an index card with the shit I want to say to you, 'cause I'm not paying for that.
No, I wanted to have, like, last year I thought we would have Jeremiah. He's the person that officiated our wedding. I was like, it could be us and Jeremiah and the kids in the backyard. And then Chris was like, yeah, but our families are going to get mad if we don't invite them. And I was like,
right. This was during COVID time.
This was during COVID times.
Oh. Yeah, non-COVID time, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
A little cocktail party?
Right.
That'd be
Yeah.
cute.
But now I feel like I got to wait because,
You gotta
well,
wait for your 20 years or whatever.
right. But at that point, then take me on a really nice fucking vacation.
And that's that's where we're getting back to. 20 years. It's where's the airplane, and also, are we going first class?
Right, right.
Because there's a lot of things I'm gonna deserve after 20 years of marriage,
Yes.
and it is literally riches.
Luxury.
Yeah.
Luxury.
I mean, I had all these kids. Come on
Right.
now.
I mean, that's like when we were talking last year about, or last summer, I looked at him and I was like, listen, I think that I have held up my end of the bargain. I have produced these children. I am a fantastic wife, if I do say so myself. So could we please upgrade my rings to like actual real gemstones? Because the CZs I've been wearing around, while this setting is gorgeous, it's kind of starting to look a little janky. Could we please? And he was like, I got you. I've already been thinking about it. And I was like, cool. So let's do that. And then I'll be good for a few years.
Oh, that was wonderful. We can cut this whole part out because Justin Beck's going to be like, see, Chris was smart about it. I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to hear it.
It was my request. He was shocked. He was like, seriously? And I was like, we're 23 and 24. We just bought a house. We have no money. Don't go buying me a very expensive ring that we probably can't afford. So, like, let's just do this.
That was some responsible, good reasoning. I came into my shit like 3.5 years, motherfucker, you have me playing house. Don't come in here with no bullshit. Don't come in here with no bullshit. Because a bitch will say, no. But you know what? I got to give it up to Justin Beck. Justin Beck did not fuck around. He really didn't. He told me about the trip after the fact. He was like, dude. So, like, I get the ring. I'm fucking... Like, I knew it was going to be nice, but I didn't know Justin Beck was going to be like, now shut the fuck up. You know, because he literally could have slapped me across my face, and I would have been like, thank you, I love you. Because he did that shit. I do not condone domestic violence. That's the second time I've made reference to it. Can we have a joke? Goddamn, 2021, don't cancel me, don't cancel me. He was like, they take you into this fucking room where the diamonds are, and they offer you a drink because they know you need one. And he's like, and I had to explain I don't drink, and they're like, well, what are you gonna do? Like, and so Justin really was like, well, you're a jeweler. If you had your wife walking around, you don't want her to look like shit. Like, what would you have her in? And he was like, that. And Justin saw the price tag and was like, what the fuck? This is absolute bullshit. He's like, but my girlfriend will say no. So he did good.
It's an investment.
I kept saying that. And I was like, and also it's a reflection of you.
This is a reflection of your love for me. And if it's not great, people are going to wonder. It
is, though. What if I was walking around and I was like, oh, who are you married to? Justin Beck. Oh, Justin Beck's got a little right. He was like, no one would ever say that. I was like, dude.
Ladies, look.
They do. And I was in sales at the time. And I'm going to tell you something. My sales went through the roof after I got the ring. They really did. I was like, why didn't I think to wear a fake ring this whole fucking time?
Right.
Because it became a conversation thing. And it also was like, how do you have that? So there was some weird level of like, how did I get that? Who gave that to me? Type shit. And I would just play with it. I'd be like, I mean, I just got obnoxious. So anyway, do you want the $17,000 item today or no? Because if your taste level's not there, I can totally understand. But if your taste level is there, I was a piece of shit, but it worked. And them commission checks were good for a minute after the ring.
Oh. Well, good.
All right. Well, you got to go.
I got to go.
I'll talk to you later. I'm so happy that we are compatible on our wedding shit. Imagine if we had gotten on this phone call and you had to sit there and fake the whole time my thing.
I would be like, that's amazing. I'm so happy you had a buffet. Go. Okay.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Really?
Wow. Oh, and Justin wore a tux? Okay.
Oh, a bachelorette party with strippers. Interesting.
Oh, you walked down to the aisle to meet me at the altar. Oh, actually, that would be kind of cool.
Wait, what'd you walk down to?
The opening music from On Golden Pond is nobody's gonna know the song.
I have to Google it.
You're gonna have to Google it. But there's this opening, and then there's this like flourish. I had both of my parents walk me down off the porch onto the patio. So there's this like big flourish in the music in the opening, and that's when I came down the stairs. It was very lovely.
Was Chris crying and shit?
Yes, of course.
Oh, he did?
He cried. I cried. It was so
happy.
lovely.
Justin Beck did not cry. Matter of fact, this was a good episode. We should just leave it at this. Justin did not cry. Upon seeing his bride, he did not cry. And also, Justin, yeah, I'm going to bring it up again because I do bring it up every now and again. What? I fucking thought I had to pay attention to the rabbi. I was like, but you should look me in the eyes and look at your wife. He's like, but I had to pay attention to the rabbi. The whole time we went to the rabbi every time, and he said it was important. It's like, I think Justin thought he was at school or something. He thought he was like in a Hebrew lesson. He was really paying attention to everything the rabbi said. And I was like, could you look your wife in the eyes? I'm like squeezing his hand, like, look at me, bitch. Like in my mind. And he's focused on this fucking rabbi, which I was like, it is interesting. Rabbi Tyrone, the white guy, is interesting, but can't be more interesting than your wife.
That's adorable. That's very cute.
So, yeah, there were no tears, Justin. We're going to have a talk.
He wanted a good grade.
He did. It was cute. We're going to have a talk, though. Now that I just reminded myself. Bye.
Dredging up old shit. Dredge it up.
We're not going to get to the 20-year vow renewal, I don't think. Bye.
Bye. Hello, stranger friends. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. You just keep coming back, and for that, we salute you. So thank you for listening. As always, don't forget to subscribe to this show. That way, you never miss an episode. You never miss an episode. We don't want you to have FOMO. So subscribe. While you're subscribing, hop into Apple Podcasts. If that's where you listen, please leave us a 5-star rating and a review. You know we got to beat that algorithm. So if you're enjoying this show and you want to tell other people about it, that is a great way to do so. If you don't listen on Apple Podcasts, cool. You can put a post in your social media. You can tell a friend. You could call your mom, or don't. Share this podcast. We would be ever so grateful. In the meantime, you can visit our website, www.imperfectstrangerspodcast.com. We are on Instagram at imperfectstrangers_podcast. You can also find us on Twitter at imperfstrangers, or join our private Facebook group. That can be found, there's like a URL, but just go to our Instagram. There's a link in the bio, click it. It's private, so you got to answer some questions, but if you're good, we'll let you in. If you want to shoot us an email, you can do so at askimperfectstrangers@gmail.com. We will see you guys live on Monday on Instagram, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to talk about weddings. In the meantime, wear your mask, wash your hands, and we'll see you soon. Bye.